Hey guys! So this is our first episode with the agency online. We haven't really titled this yet, so if you have any clever ideas, please comment them because we haven't thought of a name. But anyway, I'm here with a movie director, Hezues. So first of all, thank you for coming in. We really appreciate when you guys come in and meet with us and doing these videos. I'm sure they'll be beneficial.
Yeah, I've been in production entertainment for about 15 years. The last 4 or 5 years I was in advertising, so not until just the end of last year did I get back into directing, got back into my directing bag, directing chair. I finished up my first film back called Asian Mob, which we're actually dropping the trailer for next week. So
nice. So tell us more about this film. What inspired you to do it?
Well, there were some guys that I worked with right when I left Puffy. I started my own agency called Creative Gods, still in advertising. And there was this gentleman by the name of Jim Gates. He had a clothing brand called COD. So I helped them to blow up the clothing line, Cash on Delivery. We stayed in touch, and when he heard I was getting back into directing, he asked if I could do a movie with him, involving him, his friends, and some other Asian artists in the industry. So within a week I wrote the script. Next week we were in pre-production, and the next week we were shooting. We shot 32 actors in 20 locations in 5 days, and we came up with a 45-minute short film, which is being well received now. So we haven't officially dropped the trailer, but all the industry people that I've sent the link to,
You're building the hype.
They're feeling it. So the next couple of weeks we're gonna do a press run and a lot of media and stuff. So, but all independently. So.
You said you worked in advertising and then you moved back into production. So can you tell me, is there any key difference between advertising and production?
Well, everything's all relative. I mean, personal difference for me, was before I was producing $3 million commercials, now I'm doing independent films. Since I don't have a name as a director, it's humbling yourself to start back at the bottom and go into something that you're passionate about. I shouldn't say I don't have a name. I'm an award-winning director, critically acclaimed. I've done a lot of very powerful and impactful pieces, from music videos to films to TV shows, but I don't have a name in terms of being recognized or known industry-wise, at least not as much as the credentials or rapport that I had in advertising as a creative.
So it's like a refreshing start.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Nice. Okay.
So, but it's something that I felt, all these years, I helped build a lot of other brands and contributed to a lot of other big icons in their movement, and I felt like it was time that I did something for myself and focus on something that I was the most passionate about and the most talented at. At all the things that I've done and been accredited or awarded for, directing is my strong suit, my passion, but it's something that I was just kind of put on the back burner. But all those different experiences help shape and mold your sensibilities to have, your unique voice. So I'm excited about putting Asian Mob out and then, jumping into the next project. Next month we're shooting a project called After the Veil, and then later this year I'm doing a movie called Suicide Saint, which is going to be my first feature-length film.
Awesome. It's really exciting for us to hear. You will be using the agency to do all your casting, yes?
Of course.
Yes, that's
of
what
course,
I thought. That's what I thought I heard.
The agency, you guys just casted for a TV pilot that we were doing. Go back to the old grind that Ryan St. Clair wrote. I was asked to come on and direct, and within a day, we had a few dozen choices for each role.
That's how we work.
And had 4 or 5. The short list of very, very good selection of talent, very quick response, very efficient in terms of delivering what we're looking for. So I definitely enjoyed working with the agency, and that's why I took the time to come interview with you guys.
Thank you for your kind words about the agency. So we also have a lot of, new talent always signing up, with talent. They always want to better themselves, and, they're always, thirsty and passionate to get the next big role. They're always very hard driven. They have a very hard work ethic. So when these casting calls and these auditions, there's definitely 1,000 candidates. So from a director's standpoint, what makes actor or in an audition stand out in their casting call? What makes them stand out from the rest in like a talent pool of so many?
Well, it depends on, you know, that director's voice and the choices that they make, right? Like I've been involved in some projects with you know, particular writers who are part of the cast, and they would sit in and they would be looking for the strongest actor, right? They're like, oh, you know, this actor's so strong, such an amazing actor, like but for me, it's not always who's the best actor. Sometimes it's about, and it's not always about the look. A lot of times, it's, you know, the look has to work for the role. But for me, it's I like something that's kind of that there's a quirkiness. There's something that's offbeat. I always like the more unconventional and the more memorable performance as opposed to the stronger, you know, just acting. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you have to appreciate the craft. Like, you know, I want somebody who's going to prepare for the role and have a work ethic and take it serious. But I've also worked with a lot of first-time actors, not actors, beginning actors, having done projects that you know, bridge the gap between music and other aspects of entertainment in Asian mob. A lot of the characters in the film were first-time actors, but they're big Asian rappers, and a lot of these guys have real stories. So in terms of playing the part, like I've worked with inexperienced first-time actors before, and sometimes you get great performances out of these people. But of course, somebody who studies the craft and it's their profession, they're going to be able to make those changes, and they're going to be able to receive your direction and understand.
So
you know,
not
things go
only
smoother when somebody knows the etiquette and the protocol on
right.
set. Right.
So, you know, it kind of depends on what the like role is. So, you know, sometimes, you know, it's not always about who's the best, who looks the best. It's all about like if you can work well, if you can fit in with the cast, and of course you have to know the industry, know the language, pretty much kind of fit yourself in with production. You can't just like think you're the best and demand things.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't like working with divas. You know, I don't got time for that. If your ego's big and you're not on my film, you're not on my set. And I would say that in terms of performance, it's also what the role requires. Because the role might be a strong, silent type, but you know, there's certain roles that you can't get around not having somebody who's a tremendous actor or actress, especially if they need to have a lot of range and the emotions that they need to deliver, and you know, there's a lot of depth and complexity to the character. So it's just, it all depends. But I always look for the, you know, the memorable. Yeah, the memorable, unconventional. You know, I like those Nicolas Cage type characters.
So in a way, there's always a role for everybody.
Yeah, there is. And I always go left. I don't like doing normal.
You like to go off the society, off the page a little bit.
Yeah, I've been considered very avant-garde.
But that's why you're so critically acclaimed, because you do something that's out of the norm.
Yeah.
So.
But taking risks doesn't always pay off. So.
True. So you just kind of have to know when to do it. Calculator. That's why it's called the risk. Thank you so much, Hezues, for coming in today. We truly appreciate the time you took. I know you're starving. I don't blame you.
Yeah, they said I would get a free meal.
You could bring that up with production. Jyoti, you owe this guy a meal. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Say hi to everyone who's watching, our awesome talent. Thank you guys again. We haven't named this series, so please, if you have a clever name, comment below. Also, follow us on social media. We love to hear your feedbacks, comments, whatever you have to hear. Yeah, till next time. See you at the agency.